to Pia Talks, and today we venture back into more true crime. So today we want to talk about a town called Skidmore. It's in Missouri, and I can tell you now, if you are not from Skidmore, you can't go to Skidmore, okay? This is the most unwelcoming town I have ever seen. The most unwelcoming small town in America. Now, I can speak for small towns. The small town where I'm from has a population of 360 when I was a kid. The population now is down to 280. However, it was a lovely place to grow up. Everyone knew everybody. Everyone was practically related to everyone. The only downside to being from a small town, where my small town was, everyone knew your business and everyone had no problem spreading your business. Also, as a kid, no one had a problem telling your parents when they saw you do something. I mean, your parents knew before you even got close to the front door. As soon as you did something, they knew your name and your mama's number. So that's the downfalls to living in small towns. But also, the upside of living in small towns is everyone knows everyone. You can trust the people that you're around, and you could sleep with your doors unlocked. I mean, now in 2020, no one in my small town, leaves their doors unlocked anymore because things happen. However, Skidmore is totally different. So I heard about this story years ago and I thought, wow, it's interesting. I cannot believe this went down. However, I recently came across a docuseries called No One Saw a Thing. And I said, wait, I know this story. But anyway, it was interesting, so I'm going to watch this docuseries. And oh my God, did they blow my mind. They went truly in depth regarding this little town. And honey, listen, you are not welcome there, okay? This crazy story starts with the murder of Ken McElroy, one of the residents of Skidmore and also referred to as the town bully. This man was accused of dozens of felonies, including assault, child molestation, statutory rape, arson, cattle, also burglary. Altogether, he was charged 21 times and he escaped conviction every time except for one, the very last time. So what happened, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. So it seems that Tanya, his 8-year-old daughter, went into the local grocery store and she was seen trying to pocket some jawbreakers. Okay, children do that. Children do that, right? So a normal person says, hey, young lady, put that back. You have to pay for that. You can't just take it, right? Okay, so that's what happened. Evelyn, one of the ladies who worked at the store, told the little lady that she had to put the candy back. What happens? Her father, McElroy, comes in, starts to have a full-fledged argument with Evelyn. Evelyn apologizes to him profusely, and that's not enough. That is not enough. Where I come from, an apology is enough, especially for something like, hey, could you put those jawbreakers back? But not for him. I mean, that tells you something about him, right? That's why he's the town bully. He feels like he can just do and say whatever he wants. With him not being satisfied with the apology, he starts harassing the owner of the grocery store as well as the employees. He starts parking out in front of the grocery store on a regular basis. He's driving past their home, sitting out in front of their house. I mean, this is a little bit much. Over a jawbreaker? Over someone asking her to please put the candy back? Really? You're gonna just keep stalking these people? Because that's exactly what it was, stalking, if you ask me. One day the owner, Mr. Bowenkamp, who's 70 years old, he's sitting out on his back loading dock, which he has the right to do. It's his business. And McElroy comes over and shoots the man in the neck, seriously injuring this Mr. Bowenkamp. Mr. Bowenkamp, thank God, survives, and he's able to stand firm and press charges against McElroy. McElroy, however, gets convicted, but he's also allowed to go out on bail while he appeals his conviction. So as soon as he's out on bail, he doesn't go home, to pray about it, or go home to be with his family that's missed him while he's been in jail. No, he doesn't do that. What does he do? He goes to the local tavern, the D&G bar that's there in town, and threatens to kill Mr. Bowenkamp. He shows up there with a rifle with a bayonet on it. I mean, are you kidding me? Who does that? Now, let me tell you, this was 1981. And I think even in 1981, a person showing up at an open bar with a rifle with a bayonet on it, not okay. Never, right? But that's not where it is. That was July the 9th, okay, that he showed up at the bar with that bayonet and that rifle, right? So on July 10th, the town had a town meeting at the local American Legion, okay, because that's where all small towns have their meetings, or the little town hall, Anyway, the entire town pretty much gathers at the American Legion, right? Including the mayor and the sheriff. The town lets the mayor and the sheriff know, you people have got to do something about McElroy. The man is nuts. You know what I'm saying? He's already shot somebody, but not one person. He shot two people. He got away with shooting another resident in the stomach. I guess for the hell of it, who knows? But anyway, he shoots this guy and gets away with it. So the residents are getting really revved up, right? So rumor has it, the sheriff and everybody there knew that the residents had formed a plan. However, that's all alleged because the sheriff says that he had no idea. However, the sheriff leaves the town meeting and heads out to another town that's 45 minutes away in the midst of this crowd getting rowdy and talking about having vigilante justice against McElroy and finding out that McElroy is yet again back at the tavern. Really? So this sheriff wants everybody to believe that he didn't know what was happening? Sir, I think you're lying. But anyway, again, alleged. So what happens is McElroy is in the bar talking crap like he always does. Well, the meeting lets out, and a lot of these people from the American Legion, they go into the bar. See where I'm going with this? They go into the bar. He's in there talking crap. They decide, oh, well, we're going to talk a little crap today too. So it gets to the point where it's really uncomfortable because it's all of them versus him. So his wife, Trina, says we should go. So he agrees because you know when you're outnumbered, right? Everybody knows when you're in a battle that you might not be able to win. So you go on home, okay? So the bully, Ken, decides that he's gonna get in his truck and go home. So him and his wife, Trina, start to leave and walk out to the truck. Well, when they leave to walk out to the truck, the patrons leave too. They're following them out to the truck. Well, Ken gets into the truck with his Trina, and as soon as he lights his cigarette and starts the truck up, shots fired, okay? Shots fired. Allegedly, it was 3 different guns used in this assault, right? They also stated that anywhere from 30 to 60 of the town's residents were standing out watching as this assault happens. Ken's kill shot came from the back of his head. So what happens? The whole town gets together. They pick up a lot of the shells. They all go back to their jobs, back to their businesses, and back to their homes, shut their doors, and close their blinds. By the time the sheriff gets back into town, from that trip he went on, by the time he gets back into town, the only thing out in the town is Ken dead in the truck with his foot still on the accelerator of that truck. Dead silence. The only thing you can hear is the engine of that truck. This man is absolutely dead. So the town took a little vigilante justice and handled this bully. Okay, but that's not the crazy thing. The crazier thing is, well, that was crazy, but the crazier thing was the town brought in the FBI, right? The FBI questioned every adult in the town, asking them, what did you see? What happened? They said, what did you see to the left? What did you see to the right? What did you see straight ahead? Every single person in the town said, I didn't see anything. The FBI said, were you there? They said, yeah, I was there, but I didn't see anything. All I know is McElroy is dead. That's all they knew. Now, really? Isn't that weird? I mean, I get it. I totally get it, because if I'm in a town and I just saw the town people go into the American Legion and allegedly plan that they're going to gun this man down, do you really think that I'm going to tell the FBI what I saw? No. No, because the next town American Legion meeting could be about how we're going to kill her. No, no. So the whole town was like, oh, no, no, we didn't see a thing. So what happens? Trina, the wife, even though there was allegedly 3 shooters, she only saw 1. She goes to the police and she tells them who she thinks killed her husband, right? No charges were ever filed against this guy. None, because the police, I think, allegedly, were involved with the whole thing. I think the police, the mayor, the entire town was like, girl, no, no. We are not about to file any charges. Well, Trina gets ticked, gets her a lawyer, and she sues the city of Skidmore. She sues Steve Peters, who was the mayor. She sues Donnie Estes, who was the sheriff at the time, and the alleged shooter, Dale Clement. She sues them for $11 million. But nope. 3 years later, while the suit was still working, Trina dropped the suit. She said that her children had been shot at and she had been threatened multiple times. She settled out of court for $17,000 and she hauled ass, okay? The last they heard, she lived in Ozark somewhere. She said, oh no, you killed my husband. You are not about to kill me and my kids. Bye. Now let me tell you a little backstory on Trina. Trina met McElroy when she was 14. This man fell in love with a 14-year-old. Her parents were against it because this man was old as hell. Anyway, because her parents was against him being with her and marrying her, this dude allegedly burnt down her parents' home. Thank God no one was killed, but their home was burnt to the ground. This is Ken McElroy, right? What? Anyway, she loved him for whatever reason, I have no idea, because allegedly he beat the hell out of her and his wife, which is also the odd thing. When he was dating Trina, he was already married and living with his wife, and they all lived together. So he had 2 wives living with him who were both allegedly being abused viciously. I don't get it. Okay. Also, the town said that she had every right to be scared. She really did. One of the town's members said that what the mistake that they made is that when they killed McElroy, they should have killed her too. Oh my God. I mean, it was clear that they carefully made sure they didn't kill her because she was in the truck sitting right next to McElroy. So, ooh. Just a thought. That man said they should have killed her. Wasn't that crazy? And that was recent years, like 2018 or so. Like, yikes. You're thinking, well, they killed the bully and now the town is happily ever after, right? No. So the residents now seem to think that the town is cursed due to them murdering McElroy in cold blood out there in the middle of Main Street. Yeah, Main Street. Every small town has a Main Street, right? So anyway, things did not get better there. It's like, is it karma coming back? Is it the sins of the father affecting the children? You know that old saying? This town is odd, okay? Since the death of McElroy, they have had 9 odd deaths/murders in Skidmore. That is weird. This is a town with a population of 284, I believe. And what? Everybody knows everybody. You don't like strangers. You tell strangers to get the hell out of your town. Like what, you know, what the hell is happening in Skidmore? One of the very odd cases in Skidmore that they talked about in this documentary was of a beautiful young lady named Wendy Gillenwater. On October 16th of 2000, Wendy was beaten to death by her boyfriend, Greg Dragon. Greg was an absolute meth addict who beat her for years. He mistreated her for years. So on the 16th of October, I don't know what actually happened, but Greg lost it and he ended up beating Wendy with a flashlight inside of their home. He beat her so badly that she had 6 rib fractures on the right side and 8 rib fractures on the left side. One of her lungs was lacerated and her liver was also lacerated. This woman suffered worse than I can even imagine. She had serious internal trauma and bleeding, but that wasn't all. After this crazy beating, Greg drags her up the steps and outside onto the yard where the beating continued. The across the street neighbor sees him assaulting this woman who is dying and never called the police. Didn't do anything. Didn't rush out with their gun, because you know everybody in that town probably has a gun. Didn't rush out and threaten to kill him at all. Finally, when the police were called, they get to the house and he's sitting out on the front porch and she's laying on the yard. Now, what they also stated was when she was dying, taking her last breath, he pulled an entire bottle of Dawn dishwashing liquid down her throat while she is just gasping for air. I cannot imagine. I can't imagine it. This is somebody's child. This is somebody's sister. This is somebody's niece, granddaughter, what? And I don't care if you're on meth. I really don't. I'm also extremely angry because I feel like if that neighbor did something, anything, came out on their front lawn and screamed at this man, something, maybe he would have stopped this violent attack on this woman. Like, you've got to speak up. You've got to say something. This is a woman that could be alive and well today, possibly, if somebody would have just said, wait a minute, what the hell are you doing out there, sir? I don't know what's wrong with this town, but you people need help. Anyway, the EMTs did everything they possibly could to save her, but she didn't make it. And the only way that her own mother was able to identify her body was by the rings she was wearing. Her mom must have suffered so bad. Like, I can't even tell, this is my baby. What in the hell is wrong with these people? Anyway, Greg goes to court and he's sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And personally, I hope that every day that that man is sitting in that prison cell, he is haunted by her ghost. I would have loved it very much if the judge would have said his cell needs to be wallpapered with nothing but pictures of Wendy, so that every morning when he wakes up, every day as he walks around that tiny cell, every night when he lays there, when he uses that gross, disgusting toilet that's in his cell, you have to look at the face of that beautiful woman that you ruined, that you snapped from this world. Next, there was Branson Perry. On April the 11th, 2001, Branson had some friends over to help him clean up the house and work on his father's car. His father was in the hospital and he knew he was due to be released any moment then. And he wanted the house to look nice and he wanted the car to be running as a gift for his father, as well as he was going to use the car to go pick him up from the hospital. At about 3 o'clock that afternoon, he told the girl that was in the house helping him clean up that he was going to run these jumper cables out to the backyard shed. He has to walk about maybe 20, 30 steps to get to the backyard shed. He never returns. No one ever sees him again. Branson never showed up, never called his father, nothing. So finally, on April 17th, he was reported to the police as missing. They are outside searching everywhere. They searched farms, every country road, every back road. I mean, they searched high and low for this young man. They searched the shed. The jumper cables were not in the shed. 2 weeks later, mysteriously, those jumper cables showed up in the shed. But no Branson. Everyone in the town saw nothing, didn't know anything, nothing, right? So they just continued to hold out hope and pray. The former sheriff was on the documentary I watched, and he said that they know very well who killed Brandon and when and why. However, when they took it to the prosecutor said there wasn't enough evidence, and he refused to prosecute. So until this very day, no one knows where Branson Perry is. What happened to him? They just presume that he is dead. They even have a tombstone for him. Both of his parents have since passed without finding out what happened to their son. The people in the town believe that the father died of a broken heart. The mom passed away from cancer. And the former sheriff said that he did tell the mother before she died that he was sure her son was dead. And in her obituary, they did say that he preceded her in death because for the longest she held out hope that her son was still alive. But in the end, she realized he was gone. That's another life just snuffed out and disappeared. And you cannot tell me that somebody in that town doesn't know something. And when they interviewed people from the town, they all said the same thing. We will never tell you anything. And that was about the McElroy thing. But even now, they all state, even though they believe that the people who killed McElroy are dead now, they still won't tell you. Secrets is one of the things that's killing this town. Bobby Jo Stenton, 8 months pregnant with her first child, was murdered in her own home. Her mother, Becky Harper, came over to her home for a visit and found her dead in the floor. She called 911 and told 911, "Please help me. I think my daughter's stomach has exploded." She had no idea until the police and paramedics got there that someone had come into her daughter's home and violently strangled her daughter and cut her baby out of the womb. When the paramedics arrived, they did everything they could to revive Bobby Jo, but unfortunately they were not able to. So here they are in a predicament. We have this beautiful young pregnant mom gone. Where is the premature baby? Where is this baby? So this is where the town comes in. For the very first time, and I don't know if this is because it was a baby involved, but this is one of the things that is good about a small town. When you are from out of town, they know it. Small towns know strangers. They know when somebody that doesn't belong there is there. One of the residents noticed that same day going down Bobby Jo's street was a little red car that was moving pretty fast. So that resident tells the police. The police call in the FBI and they grab Bobby Jo's computer. They realize that Bobby Jo sells rat terriers online, and on this website they also realized that she posts her home address on this website. They also noticed that there was a lady who was communicating with Bobby Jo who claims that she too is pregnant and that she also loves and sells rat terriers. The lady goes by the name Darlene Fisher, and she makes an appointment with Bobby Jo to come down and purchase one of her rat terriers. Through calls from Darlene Fisher's area after the Amber Alert went out about the baby, and through police forensics, they were able to find out that Darlene Fisher was actually a lady named Lisa Montgomery. And Lisa Montgomery was clearly out of her mind. She drove over 3 hours from Melbourne, Kansas, all the way to Skidmore, Missouri, to kill and steal this woman's baby. See, Lisa had been pretending to be pregnant, even though she had a tubal ligation in 1990. Now, here's the thing that really drove me crazy. This woman drives 3 hours to Skidmore, kills Bobby Jo, steals the baby, drives 3 hours back to Kansas. All of this happened on Thursday, December 16th, 2004, right? She gets back to her hometown and she calls her husband and tells him, baby, I've had the baby. Come pick me up in front of Long John's. Say what now? Okay, so you want to tell me that this husband knew nothing? Nothing? So your wife has faked a pregnancy for 8 or 9 months. Then she tells you that she delivered this baby today and she's out of the hospital already and standing in front of the Long Johns? No. And you bought this? And not only did he pick her up from the Long Johns, they went around town showing off their new baby. Okay, really? Really? Come on now, right? Who the hell was falling for this? When the police get to her house, they go in and she's sitting on the couch holding the baby, trying to pretend that it's her baby. The police officer grabs the baby and heads on out. Like, what? What, girl? Listen, the husband did not get arrested. However, I feel like he should have got arrested. There should be some kind of penalty for you falling for this dumbness. Really? Who has a baby and gets discharged from the hospital the same day and then asks you to pick them up from the Long Johns? Not even from the hospital maternity ward? Where is that wristband that they put on your wrist? Where is the band on the baby? Something. Where is your bleeding, ma'am? I mean, this whole thing was just really stupid to me, that this husband fell for the crap. Anyway, she ended up going to trial and she received the death penalty. She sits on death row to this day. And I'm sorry, as far as I'm concerned, she can sit on death row right next to Greg. He should be there with her. So this is the place where Skidmore and Melbourne, they were able to help the police along with their forensic investigators. They were actually able to get that baby back in 1 day. The baby was returned to her father and she was named Victoria Jo, which was the name that Bobby Joe had picked out for her. Which, that brings a lot of peace to the family. Yes, they have lost Bobby Joe and will be devastated forever. They were able to get the baby back. And that is very important. That baby is a piece of Bobby Joe. And I don't think they would have made it if they didn't get that baby back. I personally would like to say that my thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victims. My thoughts and prayers are with the entire city of Skidmore. The town has gone down over the years. It's pretty much a partial ghost town. And I think 10, maybe 12 years from now, there will be maybe 2 people living in Skidmore. This town has fallen apart. And my question to you, please put it in the comments, do you think that Skidmore and their children are paying for that vigilante murder of McElroy? What would you have done if you were in the town's position dealing with a bully like McElroy? Is being a vigilante okay in certain circumstances? I asked myself that same question. And I was kind of on the fence. I said, one of my favorite movies is Death Wish 3, where Charles Bronson, playing Paul Kirby, goes and destroys the street gang who is ruining this neighborhood. And every time I watch it, I cheer him on. When he kills the giggler, I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? I'm excited. But in real life, I'm not okay with vigilante justice. I'm just not. If I was a resident of Skidmore and I was at the town meeting and I allegedly knew that they were going to gun Ken down, would I have stayed and watched? No. I would have gone straight to my house and shut the door so that when the FBI came knocking, I could honestly say I didn't see anything. However, if I had saw something, when the FBI came knocking, I would have lied and said I didn't see a thing, because I absolutely agree with the rest of those town people. If you can get together in a meeting You can get together as a town and decide we are going to blow somebody away. You will absolutely kill me for telling the FBI that I saw so-and-so kill McElroy. So absolutely not. No, I would not have said a word. I just think that this town deserves a chance to start over, especially the children in the town. They deserve to have peaceful and happy lives. The families that can move have moved, I assume, and the families who just love being where they are refuse to move. As I said earlier, I am praying for the city of Skidmore. I really am. And I really care about what you think too, so make sure you put it in the comments. If you want to continue this journey with me, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can always be notified when I post new content. And until next time.